Hey guys, DM Cubing, and here's my tutorial on making a magnetic thunderclap version 1. Hello fellow cube tubers, DM Cubing here, and here's my tutorial on making a magnetic thunderclap version 1. Before we begin, let me point out a few differences between it and the version 2 and why I feel that this one makes for a better magnetic cube. The main difference, the one that concerns us, is this amount of friction, this cubey piece drag as I call it, as any particular layer or face comes into its resting position. You see how it kind of drags right when it gets to that position. Now you can take a thin little strip of paper and test this on any cube to see if it has this built in. I mean, this kind of design helps keep the cube in alignment and everything, but where it works in the Thunderclap 2 would actually kind of cancel out any benefit that we would have from using magnets. And here you see the free part before the or after the friction kicks in. That's why I think the Thunderclap 1 works best with magnets. Okay, so let's begin the tutorial. On this particular project, I used kind of a regular style superglue, Scotch brand, so it was kind of thin. I really don't like thin superglue, mainly because it dries real fast. Once you put a magnet in position, you really can't reposition it if you have to move it without kind of like breaking it off of the plastic. And it can be a little bit thin and runny, and it seems like when you're trying to get a dropout, what you end up getting out is like a small bubble. And you kind of wait and wait and wait, and then you get a big drop, and it's kind of a pain. I rather prefer what I usually use, but I left it at my shop. So I used a regular style super glue. This particular cube measures at 0.046 inches, so it's kind of thick, but not overly thick. And since it was kind of like free forming and just kind of this deformed shape, I thought, and since I had them on hand, I thought, well, why don't I just go ahead and use some N52s? Now, is that the optimal magnet for this cube? Probably for most people, no. You probably would want to use an N48. But it's interesting, the N52 does give a pronounced magnetic feel. Initially, you might think it's overly strong, but after you've done quite a few solves on it, you kind of get used to it. But for most people, you probably would want to use an N48 on this cube. Okay, here we go. Okay, so first of all, make sure that you've removed all the lubrication from the cube and all the pieces. And then we'll be taking apart the edge pieces. This is an edge piece. See, it's got a seam right down the middle, so use your index fingernail there. Just kind of easily pull it apart here at the base, and it comes apart in 2 halves. See the little prongs and the receptacles that hold it together? Here's my stick of magnets. I put that little piece of paper on a far end so that I maintain a consistent polarity throughout my whole cube. That's the purpose of that. So as I approach putting in my magnets, I always have that one little paper part at the same end of the stick of magnets. Here's the location of the magnet. See that right at the bottom of that little post? Like we've done in the Oolong and a bunch of other cubes, except the Oolong is reverse of this. Here it's on the right side, see? And that's my little helper magnet on the exterior. That just acts as a clamp, just kind of holds it into place while the interior magnet is drying, the glue is. And here's kind of the layout of what I've used. See how the stick of magnets is in relationship of how it goes inside of the edge piece? So you just place one in there. Now on this thinner glue, I noticed that you really can't put a little drop of glue and then put the magnet on top of the small drop of glue because it dries so fast. So in this particular one, this project, I positioned the magnet first, then added a drop of glue. I really prefer my thicker gel type super glue, my gel type super glue, but I don't know, I was kind of anxious to get this over with. So you just, put all the edge piece magnets in and then set them to the side and let them dry. In this instance, this super glue dried pretty quick, so by the time I was finished with the last edge piece, I was actually able to start gluing in the corner piece magnets. So depending on the type of adhesive, and here's your corner pieces, depending on the type of adhesive, sometimes it dries quick and sometimes it dries longer. The corner piece, like most of them, are in 3 parts. Here I'm taking it apart with my fingernail at the base of it again, gently pulling it apart. And it's got these little sleeves, the little tongues, and the little groove part that fits it together here. And you just pull these little pieces apart, set them to the side. We'll be gluing 1 magnet per corner third. See that? So your edge piece magnet's been glued in, so you just drop that magnet into the corner piece. The polarity will arrange itself. Notice this, look how flush the very tops of these parts, well, actually, in this configuration, the top, but in actuality, the bases of these pieces are. And they fit together very flush, so just put another drop of glue on the magnet there in the corner piece, and you're done. And then you just do all of them matched up like this, and set them to the side and let them dry, you know, about an hour or so, depending on the type of adhesive. It's pretty straightforward. And I keep a little checkoff list going here, showing which corner piece and which edge piece I've assembled. Now, every once in a while, you might get just a little super glue on these little nibs, these little posts sticking out here, which I did on this one. So I just took kind of a sharp, small screwdriver and just kind of scraped that off. I only had one edge piece that did this to me, so, and you'll know it when you're trying to put them together and they just don't fit. So here I have, I've put them all together, and have all the assembled parts in a Vault 3 box, believe it or not. Kind of keeps them together. And look, talking about together, the magnetic pull force of these magnets will hold a cube together without a core. Look at that. Isn't that neat? I mean, and it's pretty strong. It was kind of fun after I assembled this. Look at this. I decided to kind of have fun with it and kind of see what it would do without a core. It's kind of interesting how it actually wants to perform and rotate and everything. So there it is, a Rubik's Cube without a core, a magnetic Rubik's Cube. Anyway, assemble your cube and lube it to your liking, and this is it. Not much difficulty to this project. And I did use N52 magnets. It really, they have a pretty strong pronounced feeling while you're using the cube. Most people would probably prefer an N48, would probably be the best magnet for this. So I hope this helped. If you have any questions or comments, just leave them in the comments below and I'll address them. And thanks for watching and happy cubing. Take care.